call elder law, which isn't really about elders, but there you go. And that's where we make sure that government doesn't get all your stuff. Make sure that if you've paid in, you get some paid back. It seems like a controversial idea. I'm not sure why. Why is it controversial? Anybody? 616-774-2424. Sometimes people say, oh, the government money, government money. It's like, where do you think the government gets its money? All right, can we agree that there are basically three kinds of folks in the United States of America, right? We got the really super wealthy people, and the super wealthy people hire lots of people with fancy law degrees, out of the Harvards and UPenns and the not MIT. I don't think they have a law school. Anyway, they hire people like that to make sure what? Make sure they don't pay tax. That's what. Okay, fine, good enough. Georgetown, Notre Dame, all those good places. Make sure you're not paying or you're paying no more than the law requires you to pay. That's a good thing. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. They also pay off the people who write the laws, so you wonder about that a little bit. But the bottom line is they're not paying much in the way of tax relatively. Plus, guess what? There are not very many of them. Everybody thinks that there's all these billionaires roaming around. There are very few of them. Very few. Now, there are lots of real estate millionaires, lots of people who's, thanks to thanks to $1 trillion deficits, now the dollar's not worth crap anymore, that the price of everything's gone up. You know what the median price for a new home is? Not a new one. I mean, to buy one, it's $350,000. 349,000. How insane is that? Do you remember $349,000, $350,000? You can get yourself some house with that. It would have like a hot tub in it or, something. Nowadays, oh, hey, it's got windows. Look at these doors. They close. Not very tightly, but they close. Oh boy. How about that? 350,000. Well, that's your millionaires right there, right? People who basically bought a house and continue to live in it. So we're not going to get off the high end. We're not going to be able to pay the bills that way and never have. Number one, they're too slippery. Number two, it's regular folks who just happen to get, buy the house at the right time. That's who's up in that 1%. So the 1%. Yeah, good luck for that, right? You might get your mom and dad in that 1%, but you're not going to get anybody else. Okay, so it's not them. Um, so that's one end of the upper end of the spectrum. Then we got the lower end of the spectrum. Okay, lower end of the spectrum. You know who you are, right? You don't have two nickels to rub together. You'd like to own a shack, let alone a $350,000 house with doors that actually close. And guess what? There's lots of those people. Lots and lots of them. Lots of them. Tons of them. Okay. Well, they're not paying tax either. You know why? Because they don't have any money to pay the tax with for all kinds of reasons. I'm not getting into that. But then there's this other group that's almost as big, almost as big. We don't outnumber them anymore, but almost as big. And that's the middle class. Okay. And the deal with the middle class is you've actually got some money. Because why? Well, because you work and you save and you do good things, care for your family, make sure things get handled, right? That's where the tax money comes from. That's where all this gets paid for.